What's up, Pumptown? Welcome back to an update and review. I promised my PM students that I would do a little review end of day. Today was a little lame up until literally the end of the day. And if you got something out of there, congratulations. But we'll take a little deep dive into just what happened. Now, there was no real expectations. A price point that I had given my private students was just under that low. So I had taken a short in this fair value gap with my stop above this high here this morning. And the screenshot was given in the private DM, and it fell and came within $5 of my exit and then reversed right back up to break even. I tried again right in here as we were dropping below, because I was looking at this as a downtrend and this to want to continue, and I wanted to short above the open. And you might be asking, well, why would you want to do that? Well, we pumped all week, so if this weekly candlestick is going to make a wick, then I want to catch the short. So that's why I was looking for a bearish bias and looking for this pool liquidity here to be breached and the low of our flout. So everything was looking pretty cool. We were SR flipped the daily open to the downside. So I was just sitting there holding, and then it came back, snapped up. So I was looking at this. There's a bearish breaker in here. There's a lot to say that that was going to go to the downside, but it kept working its way up in here and then leaving these equal highs, coming down. There's a 1 minute inefficiency there that price action really liked. And then first presentation fair value gap here. It just danced around it all day. It was so annoying, you guys. Like, I'm so with you. Today was brutal. So my second shot was just coming back out of this. He was right here, yeah. And that was my second shot, and it just came back and stabbed me. So I didn't trade all week up until that trade. So this is the first time, and just because it's Friday and the end of the week and day, I took an L this week. It's been a while, and I'm peacocking with it because I got to follow my rules, and now I gave myself an opportunity to actually take an L for the week. Taking L's for the day, that's pretty standard, but like, it's weird when you do it on the week for the week, because usually it's pretty easy to get a loss back if you're just patient and wait for your thing. But that's pretty cool. So next week, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to give any sort of analysis yet. We'll wait for market open and see how it opens. Today's just kind of a review of chop and how we just stayed dangling around the midnight open. We came up for the flout, the Asian range here. SR flipping the flout all day, and the open. So it was funny because we got to turn history on here. When there was a point when I was waiting for price to continue and railroad this down close candle here and start working in my targets just below there, we were dancing in between the open and the flout. and that was really annoying. Finally, it order blocked its way out, made a 2022 model, and trickled its way on up all day. And then the end of the day, so it comes and grabs buy side liquidity. And this is great if you're looking for price to just reverse in people's faces. Notice how it just comes up for the first deviation of the flout and the Asian range just about pretty close together. It's just going to double check that with the 15 minute. Yeah, it hit it. So if you use the bodies in the 5 minute there, she hits dang close but perfect on the flout here. And then it looked like it was going to continue here too. Holy moly. I left. I was not hanging out in the charts. My wife goes, "Did you see NQ?" And I go, "No, I'm not paying attention." She's like, "Go look." I just laughed. Why is that funny? Because everybody, it's Friday, and Fridays are my weekdays, and not like a weekday, but like they're my weak points in trading, just typically, unless it's non-farm. That's typically pretty fun, depending on what happens. But yeah, and look at today. It's just not fun at all. Very unorganized. A lot of give and take. No real run. And everybody's hooked on it, just wanting to continue after doing that all week. So, me personally, I was really looking for a short to make the wick of the whole weekly candle down into here. But I was going to be content with that. That was the whole thing. But it just wouldn't give it to me. Now, I even somebody laughed at me on Twitter. Wow, Berries, you're funny. I actually did front run my exit. That was what I was aiming for. And my exit, if you remember on the screenshot, was just below. And what was that there? That was a 15-minute candlestick with no tail. So you had this inefficiency here. And my exit right there. And then that's all it wanted was this little inefficiency here. Dap, and she was right back to the upside. Oh my goodness, that was annoying. Yeah. So now we have equal highs and equal lows for next week. This is actually setting up to be really cool so far. So depending on what Bitcoin does this weekend, we could see something pretty sweet next week. There's not a lot of news drivers though, so it's tough to say if it's gonna go up or gonna go down. As we reach into this premium market, and there's some exits, it's like, okay, well, where's the pullback? And if you go into the all-time history, once you take a serious pool of liquidity, there's not a lot of pullback up until maybe this. But however, if you're using your range here, we've now closed above that 786, so we're pretty much blasting through it. Meaning that order flow is quite bullish. Even if we do get a pullback, we'd permit one. How far, we'll figure it out when that comes. We'll get a swing high here in the daily time frame, and then we'll kind of front run that in the weekly time frame. So that target from yesterday's session was the top of the week. That's hilarious. So today we've got an inside trading candle, and there's our swing high right there. There's your higher high, there's your lower high, and there's your lower high. So what does this mean? That means that if you're a swing trader, you'd be looking to take profit here, because that's a swing low there where we were buyers, and that's the higher low here. That was my personal record. There was our trend shift, comes down for the higher low. So one of these swing lows, after you make your expansion to the upside, you'd be looking to take profits on a swing high. Swing trading, very simple stuff. And then so we'd be looking, well, we'll deal with that Sunday. But as far as today goes, my goodness, that's not a lot of range, and this is what I call max pain. If you guys want to know the truth, that to me is max pain. And the reason why is because most of us, we're expansion traders. We want to see the puppy run. When it doesn't run, this is where people can trip themselves up, fall back into old habits. And, we could have gotten a grand finale. We could have gotten a nice retracement, but it didn't do nothing. So was it, it wasn't our fault that the price didn't want to do anything. That's just what it had to offer that day. So that's why it's important that you're controlling yourself. And, if you're looking at those and you're going, oh, well, why didn't you trade all week? Look at those candles. Those were all pumped and weird timed pumps. They look great in hindsight, but most of those were London pumps. Actually, as a matter of fact, this was a London pump, basically all of it. And this one just kept pumping from London right through to New York. I was just, whatever. And same here. It was a London pump. It was just weird. And then, I was looking for a retracement down into the weekly range. I was catching the top of that candle, but the top was yesterday. So it's fine. It happens. And so that's awesome. Our analysis has played out, and now we're just trying to figure out premium and discount for next week. And send me your screenshots and your order flow charts. I'd love to see them. Thank you all for joining. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Peace.